Hi everyone, I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you the Trick or Treater Ghost from Spooky Cutie collection. There are 3 styles in total. Each style is divided into 2 main parts, the main part and decorations. First, make the main part, then complete the decorative elements and attach them. The main parts come in 3 styles, among which Style 2 and Style 3 have identical main parts. They only differ in color scheme. Let's start crocheting the main part of Style 1. Work with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds. First, let's take a look at the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The stitch instructions column shows which stitch techniques to use for that round, as well as how to increase or decrease, and the situation of increasing or decreasing. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches after completing all the stitches in that round. The stitches used include X stitch single crochet, V single crochet, a short stitch decrease, T half double crochet, SL slip stitch, CH chain stitch. One technique used is K skip stitch. Below, please watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. The original yarn has quite a lot of fluff, making it hard to see the stitch clearly when crocheting. I'll demonstrate the crocheting method using the original yarn below, mainly explaining how to identify stitches with this type of yarn. Then, for easier watching, I'll demonstrate the stitch technique again using cotton yarn. Here, colors are used randomly. You can first follow the tutorial to learn the crocheting method, or practice with yarn that makes stitches easier to see. Then switch to the original yarn for crocheting later. For specific yarn details, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Now I'll demonstrate using Cloudlet yarn. The method of adjustable magic ring for crocheting in rounds. Since this yarn has a lot of fluff, stitches are not easy to see when crocheting. Here I'll show how to mark stitches while you're crocheting. I'll use single crochet as an example for this demonstration. In actual crocheting, please follow your own pattern chart. Start with an adjustable magic ring. You can make the ring a bit bigger. Then make one beginning chain to start, which serves as the turning chain for single crochet. This beginning chain does not count as a stitch. Then pick up the stitch loop. Work 1 single crochet. After completing it, take a look at the bottom of the last loop. In the upper right of the corresponding stitch, you'll see a V-shaped braid-like texture. It might not be very clear here, but you can find the center of this braid, where there's a little seam, with 1 strand of yarn on each side. Also, on the front side of the fabric, there's a small hole. Insert your hook through that small hole, and it will perfectly pick up the 2 strands above. That forms the stitch of the first single crochet. Pick up the braid and place a stitch marker. Then continue working single crochets from where you picked up. After completing each stitch, the braid on the upper right corresponds to the next stitch. If you still can't distinguish the stitches, you can mark them before crocheting. Take the stitch marker, pick up the entire loop below the hook, and attach the marker. Then correspondingly make single crochets. above where the marker is placed after completion, is the stitch of the second single crochet. Take a look at the texture. If the seam isn't very visible here, try checking from a few different angles. There are 2 strands of yarn on either side of the seam. Insert your hook into the chain space below the stitch, and pick up those 2 strands. Continue downward, picking up stitches as you go, and work the required number of single crochets. I'll use 6 stitches as an example here. I've already worked 2 stitches in front. Continue with 4 more stitches. You can mark accordingly depending on your situation. You can complete 1 stitch, then use the previous method to locate the stitch. And place a stitch marker. Or you can mark before crocheting. Simply slide a stitch marker onto the yarn loop on your hook. And then continue crocheting. Marking is complete. Continue crocheting down. After finishing, let's check the stitch count. If you marked every stitch here, just count the number of stitch markers. Or you can count the stitches using the previous method to find each stitch. 1 stitch equals 1 stitch. Once it's correct, close the magic ring. Simply pull tight the yarn tail from the beginning. That closes the ring neatly. Pick the first stitch on the left side below, which is the first single crochet stitch here. Work 1 slip stitch. After completing it, underneath the loop on your hook, there will be a braid. This is the chain formed by the slip stitch. To prevent extra stitches later, you need to pull this braid tight. Don't make the loop on your hook too big here. To avoid tightening too much and catching the fluff. If you really can't pull it tight, you can leave the braid as is. Just remember to skip this braid when inserting the hook. From now on, we'll be working on the side facing you. So mark it clearly. Place a stitch marker in any position. This is the right side of the fabric. The wrong side has the beginning tail of the yarn. The first round is complete. Move on to round 2. Make 1 beginning chain. This round is worked into the stitches from the previous round. Correspondingly, make single crochet increases. Insert the hook into the first marked position on the left side. The starting tail can be placed over your hook. Weave it in as you crochet. This makes it convenient to find the insertion point for the slip stitch at the end. We'll mark the first stitch again. You can also mark after completing the stitch, or mark before crocheting. Continue making a single crochet into the same placement of the first single crochet. From here on, if you can find the stitches clearly, you don't need to mark each remaining stitch. From now on, I won't be using markers anymore. Choose whether to mark or not based on your own preference. Continue to work single crochet increases evenly. After completing, remove the stitch marker from the previous round. Once done, check the stitch count. Besides counting stitches, you can also look at the texture on the front side of the fabric. After finishing each stitch, a small vertical line texture will appear at the front, and each small vertical line represents one stitch. If the vertical lines aren't very clear, use the previous method to locate the stitches. Find the little hole. Insert hook and pick up the braid. Once the stitch count is correct, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch of this round, which is the marked position. Then pull tight after completing. You can cut off the remaining yarn from the starting chain. The second round is complete. Now work round 3. First make a beginning chain. Then correspondingly make one single crochet. If you're already comfortable finding the stitches, you don't need to mark anymore, so I won't mark them either. Refer to the previous method for finding stitches on the left side. Locate the stitch in the first stitch position to the left. Then work a SC2 in 1 single crochet increase. Continue picking up stitches and crocheting afterward. Work all the way around to finish the round. After finishing, check the stitch count. Then at the first single crochet stitch, which is on the left side of the yarn tail, there's a small braid adjacent to it. This is the beginning chain. Skip it. Find the stitch corresponding to the first single crochet. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The third round is complete. After this, continue crocheting using the method demonstrated earlier. While crocheting, if you can't locate the exact stitch, you can pick up approximately one corresponding stitch, the two more stable strands above. Pay attention not to create a large space, and don't pick up the position underneath from the previous round. After finishing, you can always check the stitch count. If you find the total stitches are wrong after completing a round, you need to unravel back to the beginning chain position. The yarn here is not easy to undo, so take it slow when ripping out. Finally thread back through the yarn loop of the beginning chain, then recrochet the current round. Now I'll show you a method for counting rounds. On the right side of the fabric, you'll see a texture of small vertical lines, one round after another, and they are slightly raised outward. There will be a little groove between each round. The wrong side of the fabric has a flatter texture. On the right side of the fabric, we count outward from the center of the starting point, following these raised textures round by round. One raised texture means one round has been crocheted. For example, my swatch here has 5 raised textures, meaning I've completed 5 rounds. That's the method for counting rounds. So this technique of starting with an adjustable magic ring and crocheting in rounds is now explained. Before beginning the actual crocheting, learn the proper posture for crocheting. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Indicating the foundation method is adjustable magic ring. Pick up the yarn with your right hand, wrap it around your left little finger. Then pass it between middle finger and index finger. Pinch the yarn tail with thumb and middle finger of your left hand. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. The hook moves between these 2 points. Position the hook underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise around the hook once. Use your left thumb and middle finger to pinch the crossing point of the loop. Make the loop large. Put the hook on the left side of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pull the yarn through the loop. This completes the adjustable magic ring. Keep the loop on the hook slightly loose, so it's convenient for crocheting later. Now begin the first round. Our 1 is 7 single crochets. The number before X indicates how many single crochets to make. Here it means to work 7 single crochets into the magic ring. First, make 1 chain stitch as the turning chain for the single crochet. Yarn over, pull the yarn through. This beginning chain is not marked in the chart. In practice, when crocheting in rounds, you need to make a beginning chain at the start of each round. The beginning chain does not count as a stitch, then begin working single crochets. For this toy, all the single crochets are X stitch single crochets. Insert into the magic ring. Place the hook above the yarn. Pull through 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and draw through in once. 1 X stitch single crochet is completed, abbreviated as SC from now on. There's a V shape formed by 2 yarns at the upper right. This is the stitch of a single crochet. Continue to work the second single crochet. Insert into the beginning magic ring. Place the hook above the yarn. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over, draw through the 2 loops on hook. The second single crochet is completed. A total of 7 single crochets are needed in the first round. Continue to finish the remaining single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The stitch pattern in the chart is now complete. After that, close the magic ring. Simply pull tight the starting tail. Tighten the center of the piece. This secures the ring tightly. Then go to the first single crochet stitch of this round. Finish with a slip stitch. If you can't find it, count backward from the end. It's this stitch here. Insert. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. Pull through all loops on the hook in one go. Slip stitch completed. Does not count as a stitch? Need to tighten. The slip stitch is not indicated in the form. When crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pull tight. So the first round is completed. Move on to crochet the second round. R2 is 7V. The number before V indicates how many you work that many consecutive single crochet increases. Here it means 7 consecutive single crochet increases. Make 1 beginning chain. I'll emphasize again. At the beginning of each round, always work a beginning chain. I won't repeat this later. Make a single crochet increase in the first stitch of the previous round. That is, the insertion point of the slip stitch. Crochet 2 single crochets here. As you crochet, place the starting tail above the hook. Tighten slightly while working. 1 stitch. Insert the hook into the same stitch again and make a single crochet. 2 stitches. Single crochet increase completed. Continue making a single crochet increase in the left stitch. Don't forget to weave in the ends. Second single crochet increase completed. This round requires a total of 7 single crochet increases. The remaining 5, all worked using the method of 2 single crochets into the same stitch. After completing the last single crochet increase, check the stitch count. Count backwards from the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 13, 14. This round has a total of 14 stitches. Join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Mindful. Unless otherwise specified, at the end of each round, always join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight, slip stitch complete. You can cut off the excess yarn tail directly, or hide it in round 3. Round 2 is complete. Continue crocheting round 3. R3 is XV, X7. The parentheses here indicate a group. X times indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Make 1 single crochet. Then make 1 single crochet increase in the next stitch. One group, XV, is completed. Let me demonstrate another group. Make 1 single crochet. Make a single crochet increase in the adjacent stitch. This is the second group. Repeat this group 7 times around the round. For the remaining 5 groups, all follow the same pattern, 1 single crochet increase method. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. Round 3 is completed. Take a look. The right side has clear texture. The wrong side has blurry texture. We'll use the side with clearer texture as the right side. Next, let's work the round 4. Make 1 single crochet. Then make 1 single crochet increase in the next stitch. Then 1 single crochet. A group X, V, X is completed. Let me demonstrate another group. First, 1 single crochet, then 1 single crochet increase. Continue with 1 single crochet. This is the second group. Continue crocheting using the same method. After completing all stitches, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. Round 4 is completed. Move on to work round 5. First, work 3 single crochets. Then make a SC2 in 1. Next, work 3 single crochets. Complete 1 group of stitches in parentheses. Continue crocheting the remaining groups. After finishing the last group, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. Round 5 is completed. Move on to work round 6. This round is worked even, meaning 1 stitch corresponds to 1 single crochet. Finish crocheting all the way around. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. Round 6 is completed. Now work round 7. Work 7 single crochets evenly into the next 7 stitches. Then make a single crochet decrease. First, make an incomplete single crochet. Insert the hook into the left stitch. Yarn over and pull through. 2 loops remain on the hook. This is an incomplete single crochet. Next, pick up the stitch to the left. Continue making an incomplete single crochet. Insert the hook. Yarn over and pull through. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the single crochet decrease. Continue working 7 single crochets evenly into the next 7 stitches. One group of stitches is completed. Proceed to the second group. First work 7 single crochets. Then make a single crochet decrease. Continue with 7 single crochets. Complete the second group, and this round is now completed. Finish by joining with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The 7th round is complete. The fabric looks a bit uneven here. Turn the smooth, even side of the fabric outward. This is the right side of the fabric. Work round 8 downward. The chart now shows flow. It means to pick up the front loop of the stitch and crochet into it. There are 2 strands of the stitch here. The one closer to the front side is the front loop. The other one is the back loop. In the original version, find the small gap of the stitch. The front strand is the front loop. The other one is the back loop. If you really can't find the exact position, just pick the strand on top of the small vertical line. I'll continue to demonstrate with cotton yarn. Start with a beginning chain. Then pick up the front loop of the stitch. Work single crochets evenly into each stitch, 5 single crochets. Work a single crochet increase in the next stitch. Complete one group. Continue following the chart for the remaining groups. Finish crocheting all the remaining groups. After completing the last group, pick up the stitch of the first stitch and make a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 8th round is completed. Then the 9th round. Refer to the chart and pick up stitches accordingly. For rounds 10 to 11, work even without increasing or decreasing. This means starting from round 10, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Each round has 36 stitches. Continue crocheting all the way down to the end of the 11th round. Follow the diagram and complete these rounds. Pay attention to make a chain at the beginning of each round. Finish with a slip stitch and pull tight. After completing, crochet the 12th round. This round is special. You need to pick up stitches on the wrong side of the 11th round. The raised horizontal bar. That is, the adjacent horizontal bar underneath the stitch. Here the original yarn isn't very visible. First, locate the stitch. Then look next to it. Find the approximate position of the horizontal bar. If you can't locate it precisely, just pick one corresponding strand on the back side. Remember to leave the front stitch unworked. I'll continue to demonstrate with cotton yarn. First, make a beginning chain. Then move to the left. Insert the hook into the adjacent horizontal bar on the back. Stitch in. Work 7 single crochets evenly into each stitch. It might be a bit tricky to insert the hook here. Just try a few times. Then work a single crochet decrease. Again, pick the horizontal bar on the back side to insert the hook. Complete one group. Continue this way, finish all remaining groups. After completing the last stitch, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. You can see a row of braids forming at the front. This creates a neat line of braids. Round 12 is now completed. Moving on to round 13, pick up stitches and work normally. Follow the chart to finish this round. After finishing, since the stitch placement for the final round has changed, you'll need to cut the yarn. First, secure with a chain stitch, leaving a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Pull tight. This yarn tail can be tucked directly into the fabric. Once done, work round 14. Here, pick up stitches from round 11. That is, in front of round 12, along this row of braid-like texture. Position the fabric with the opening facing up. Then locate the side of round 11 with slip stitch marks. That is, where the yarn tail goes downward. the corresponding position. Then pick the stitch to the left of the marked line. Insert the hook and join the yarn. Make a slip knot with the yarn. Place it onto the crochet hook. Pull through. Adjust slightly. Then make one chain as your beginning chain. Next, in the chart you'll see curly brackets, which mean the same as parentheses. The stitches inside the parentheses form one group. When you see K at the beginning, it means skip a stitch. If there's no number after K, it means skip one stitch by default. Skip one stitch to the left and leave it unworked. Later in the chart you'll see, which means crochet the stitches inside into the same stitch. Here, pick the corresponding stitch. Work 5 half double crochets. Keep the yarn tail on top and hide it as you crochet along the edge. Complete the stitches inside the square brackets. Then skip one stitch. Pick up a stitch to the left and work one slip stitch. Here, the slip stitch does not need to be pulled tight. Now the stitch pattern within the curly brackets is completed. Let me demonstrate another group. First, skip one stitch to the left. Pick up the next stitch and work 5 half double crochets. Then skip one stitch. Work one slip stitch to the left. Another group is completed. Finish crocheting the remaining groups. For the last group, make the slip stitch into the position where you joined the yarn at the beginning. After completing, leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. Here, weave in the end to the wrong side of the fabric. Whether using cotton yarn or the original yarn, always pick the segments on the wrong side to weave in the ends. You can weave in a few more stitches if you'd like. That completes round 14. And with that, the main part of style 1 is finished. Next, I'll demonstrate the main part of style 2 and style 3. The method for these two styles is identical. For rounds 1 to 11 of the main part, It's exactly the same as the first 11 rounds of Style 1. Refer to the chart and the previous demonstration. Crochet the first 11 rounds accordingly. Don't cut the yarn after completing. Once done, proceed to crochet round 12. Here, I'll use this small sample to demonstrate. Continue from the previous yarn tail. Make one beginning chain to start. Skip one stitch. Pick up stitches to the left and work 5 half double crochets. Skip one stitch. Work one slip stitch. Complete one group within curly brackets. Continue following the chart to finish the remaining groups. Complete the final slip stitch. Cut the yarn. Hide the tail on the wrong side. Complete it yourself. At this point, the main parts of Style 2 and Style 3 have been explained.